Hey friends, welcome back to Chinez Tarot. This is the platform for channeled messages and spiritual guidance for the collective looking to master their inner world. Before we get into this video, I just want to thank everyone who returns to these videos and especially those who watch any of these bonus readings. It is appreciated having your energy here as it bolsters the reading and really makes it what it is. So let's get right into it. This reading is for the collective of feminine energies. And when I say that, I am not referring to gender specifically, but how individuals resonate and show up in the world. And when I use the term feminine energy, it's more so in recognition of how this energy is moved by their heart, by spirituality, by connectedness, and by how they feel like they're being divinely led in this world. Okay. And this collective of feminines has been doing a lot of work. In a previous reading, we spoke about this collective, which feels like the same thread, who has been relooking at like finances and actually starting to balance a masculine journey as well as their feminine journey. This is how dedicated this collective has been for a really long time. And so with this spread, we have expect powerful change, balance spirituality and practicality, be bold and make the first move, work through your fears. Confidence is your key to success. You're very close to achieving your goal, and your dream needs a practical plan, okay? Under this energy of expect powerful change, eclipse energy for this feminine. Okay, so this is confirmation that this is a result of deep shadow work. And for some reason, for some of you, this has been going on since you were 16. That number is very significant. 16, 17, 18. This powerful change has been taking place. And that's why it feels so slow. So, again, whenever you come across this reading is timeless, but there has been some sort of change that took place in that teen period for some of you connecting to this collective. And it was a long term change that was going to take a few versions of yourself to materialize. If you hear any cats scratching or yelling in the background, I have two cats and they're very bratty. So forgive me for that. Okay, so with this, oh wow, so with this shadow work, the thing that has happened is we've developed a deep sense of love for ourselves and for our own path. So sometimes the Page of Cups can represent young love or like a love that was premature. And so there is this energy that potentially this change, this long term change, came from a young love or relationship that you had in your teens, but it's also this energy of you going through the process of developing a new way of loving yourself. With this Princess of Cups or the Page of Cups energy, it's really an evolution of the way that you approach love in general, not just of self. So, with this energy of powerful change, because we've done that deep soul work and we've made those changes, there's going to be a lot of shifts in the area of love and heart centered work, heart centered relationships, and heart centered ways of living your life. Lots of water energy. We have Taurus energy and Leo energy, very Venus oriented in this reading. With the Piscean and Scorpio energy in this reading, this is about the evolution of the feminine and especially about going through that shadow. If that never took place, there wouldn't be this opportunity for new love and new connections in this sort of transformed way. So we have this Four of Swords energy coming with this full moon in Pisces and this energy of needing a practical plan. Okay, so sometimes there is this energy of wanting to strategize a bit more about how you're moving forward. And this is really actually something that I can speak on in an in-depth way or in a more nuanced way when it comes to being intuitively strategic or intuitively inspired. A lot of times spiritualists will talk about only doing things when you feel inspired action, and it's hard to sometimes decipher anxiety from inspired action. Like, am I inspired to do this, or am I afraid that there's going to be some sort of negative outcome if I don't do this thing, right? So, but because of this energy of discernment that you have cultivated for yourself, your intuitive planning forward when it comes to your life, how you build structure. So this is going back to how you are personally utilizing your inner masculine energy. The way that you do that is almost going to feel like it's working like a machine, but a machine that is intuitive. So it's like it has methodical steps for maybe how it goes about something, but whether step one or step two or step three, the timing of those steps is all intuitive, and it's all from your internal rhythm and clockwork, okay? With the Empress in reverse. So sometimes this can create a bout of insecurity when you are leaning heavily on your intuition, because typically you have not been taught to do that. You've been taught to be very thought based, and that was your best way to discern and to strategize. But you're realizing that your feminine energy is kind of the leader of what it takes to strategize, and not your masculine. Your masculine energy is just the follow up of what it takes to strategize. And so this is a message from your spiritual guides to release any insecurities around allowing your intuition to be the foundation of your strategic planning in your life. Okay, so then there is this Four of Pentacles energy about certain things that need to be released in this time period. And this is also sort of touching on the heart space. So if there are any connections that you feel intuitively drawn to, whether those are past friendships or that have dissolved over time, relationships, but of course with healthy discernment, there is this energy of holding on to these connections and not wanting to make the first move to address certain things that broke down. And I got to be honest with you, this feels more like past friendships, or even like deeper family relationships, sisters, brothers, cousins, like foundational relationships, maybe even from childhood, that have dissolved over time. And there is this desire internally to look at those things again. And this is being triggered by your heart expansion and your ability to love in a more advanced way, in this new way, and you wanting to sort of reignite or reconnect with those relationships. Okay, your spiritual team is also picking up on this energy of you maybe not wanting to be rejected in that pursuit. And so the idea, so let's say you had a friendship and it dissolved, and that's already painful, and to look back on that memory is already something that you tried to avoid. There is this energy of withholding making the first move, or extending an olive branch, an apology, or initiating some kind of communication that you feel like if it were to be rejected, that would make you feel even more depressed, or even more sad about how things happened, right? But like, there is a lot of this that is still connected to your shadow. I want you to see the mirrored energy here. We have the moon in reverse and the sun in reverse. And this is telling me a couple of things. One is telling me that there is a lot of spiritual protection over this matter, and that every base is sort of being covered by your spiritual team. You're not as being left out on your own as you think you are. And even though some of these things that are coming out of the shadow are painful, and they may have connections to this relationship that I'm picking up on, it's never going to overshadow the growth that you're going to receive from it. And the growth from actually being able to make that first move or initiate. Because even though you've been working in your feminine energy, you've been sitting in the energy of receiving, there is always a time and a place to initiate, to engage with our masculine energy. And because you're addressing that now, there is this push to, if you feel intuitively guided, and only if so, that you go after reconnecting or revisiting these relationships that you're holding on to, whether or not rejection takes place. Because the reality is that you're right, it's a possibility, but it's always a possibility. Okay, so now we have this lover's energy. This is really talking about this self-integration, and I kind of touched on this already when it came to one's fears about allowing more of our intuition to be the structure and allowing our masculine energy to really be the mechanics. Because there are some, what feels more like societal programming that took place and that really embedded in all of us a way of thinking and of going about life. But this reintegration period that you're in is so beautiful because you're finally engaging the other part of yourself, and you're being rewarded for facing this. I mean, it's a scary process, and that's also being acknowledged. Okay, with this Knight of Cups in reverse as well, this is also a large part because enough disappointments have taken place. Not just like, I know that the Knight of Cups is alluding to romantic connections often, but in this case, it's not talking about that. It's really just talking about emotional disappointments in life. It's talking about being attached to certain outcomes, jobs, people, places, things, structures, and seeing those things disappoint you one by one by one. There was a separation of your wholeness that happened during that time period. So for you to go through the shadow to face what those things are is a lot braver of an endeavor and is scarier than some people give credit for. So there's definitely this energy to really give yourself that credit for that deep cellular karmic work that you've been doing. Okay, so with this energy of material, with the Devil card coming out over this confidence, Leo energy. And you know what's interesting about this is we have a lot of powerful Leo transits taking place over the next several months, I believe. Although these readings are timeless, it is the energy of the Leo showing yourself. I know that it sort of feels, you may feel like it comes across egotistical to show yourself, to be proud of yourself, to kind of like show off your lion's mane, or to, I'm really envisioning someone like having their moment on the runway and like walking and having that moment where you're in front of the crowd and the attention is on you. There is this energy where there are some negative concepts around that, but the truth is that you're really deserving of a new spotlight, and there are going to be a lot of material rewards that are going to be coming toward you because you're deserving of this spotlight. Wow, okay, so this is actually very powerful energy. Okay, Capricorn and Cancer energy together. This is very powerful energy because this is talking about your human life, your pathway, your destiny, your divine opposite, your material, your building, because Capricorn and Cancer are sister signs, right? And so it's saying that your level of confidence when it comes to what it is that you deserve and what is meant for you on your life path is merging together, is meeting together. And this is what is really pioneering and pushing you through this transition, which is why the first card that came out was expect changes, expect bold changes. Okay, with this King of Pentacles in reverse, with you're very close to achieving your goal, and the Temperance card, this is really indicating to a separation from And this may not be a physical masculine, although if it is a physical masculine, you definitely want to check in on Thursday's weekly reading because it will be an intense love reading. But with this energy, this is more so talking about your internal masculine, and it's so the word impatience is coming to mind, but it's really just an eagerness to achieve and not having that stability being like really destabilizing for a lot of this collective. And while the stability has not yet come in, we're acknowledging that with this King of Pentacles in reverse, the peace in going through this unknown process is what has actually come in. Okay, so then we have the Tower in reverse, all of these inner transformational changes over your dreams need a practical plan, as well as, okay, the Six of Swords in reverse. So there are some fears that are getting, I don't want to say getting in the way, but they're definitely potentially blocking your ability to make a practical plan because they're becoming over consuming. And a lot of the fears are coming across as material illusions, in that the material world would like for you to believe that there is not enough for you and that there aren't enough opportunities, but the belief of your soul is what is changing internally, and that is what is going to create the intuitive energy around you making these practical plans. So the biggest takeaway and the biggest message from this reading is to really listen to that deeper intuition. Before we look at the cards on the bottom of the deck, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on my website. It is linked below, but it is also www.officialchinez.com/book tarot. I felt like that was so millennial, but that is your only way to book a reading with me. Don't allow scammers and fakers to take advantage of you. You can connect with me on social media, on my main platform, Channeling Chinez, here on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, and Substack at Official Chinez. And like this reading if you are connecting with this energy so that I might be able to keep reading for you, and also subscribe so that you can be notified every single time I upload. Okay, so on the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Swords. This makes a lot of sense because you are in a deep sense of discernment within yourself that is also coming with new moon in Libra, a new romantic cycle. Okay, so this is also another major synchronicity because we have, although the Lover's card is Gemini energy and that's air energy, it's the romantic cycle is a love story of self, of your inner feminine and masculine coming together to create your beautiful, abundant life. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.